Welcome to my Saturday morning, everybody. Happy Saturday to you all. It looks like my neighbor's swimming pool is being drained and cleaned because we've got a river out front here. There's a gas-powered pump going on back there and a huge amount of water that's going into the sewer. I wonder how much it costs to fill up a swimming pool. I don't even know. It's got to be a bunch. Water ain't cheap here these days. You get charged for water and sewer in one bill. And I know that just when I run my sprinkler system for the yard, my water bill goes from an average of like $55 to $75 a month up to $250 a month just to run the sprinklers. Good God, imagine refilling that pool. Anyway, back out on the little Hunter. My bar risers arrived yesterday, but I haven't installed them yet. I've got to get out to a breakfast meet. Got a little bit of work to do today. And after that, I'm not sure what the day is going to hold for me, but it's going to be hot. I was kind of hoping for kind of a calm day. Yeah. I don't even know why I'm going this way. I should be going the other way. That's all right. Yeah, so my plans for this morning were kind of dashed because I ended up, with this work appointment instead. What I was going to do today was take the little Hunter out on the back roads and put another 100 miles on it to get out of the break-in period, and hopefully go over to Iron Supply and pick up the oil change stuff, or maybe even have them do the first service on this, but it doesn't look like my timing is going to work out. We'll find out. So maybe I could knock that out on Tuesday or Wednesday or something like that when they reopen. Have a little extra time. Let's see how my schedule works out. Temperature's not bad out here this morning, but it's pretty humid. Had a 86 degrees or something like that. I can't remember. Mid 60% humidity, something like that. It's a little sticky. We're supposed to have rain showers this afternoon. I hope that doesn't happen, because if so, I'm going to be wet. That's all right. I'll survive it. I'm not carrying any rain gear or anything with me today on the little Hunter, and I don't have a backpack to carry it, so I will just get wet. I'll look around for a good tail bag for this. Probably just leave it strapped onto the back seat semi-permanently. Carry my stuff. I've thought about putting pannier racks on this, and if I could find some similar to the ones that are on my Rebel 1100, the small triangular shaped tube steel rack with the SW Motec SLC pucks on there, that would be okay, because then it would look naked. It's pretty unobtrusive when the bags aren't on there. But all the options that I'm seeing coming out of the Indian market, these huge chugly metal frame panniers, and it's just not my speed. Detracts from the simplistic look of the bike, in my opinion. Definitely utilitarian, but not pretty. Somebody parked over there. Oh, looks like a constable looking for customers. Good. Need to slow everybody down coming through here. Bicyclists. A lot of bicyclists out in this area in the mornings, on the weekends, and my wife is usually one of them. She doesn't really ride this stretch much, but she does ride the park road back there on Westheimer Parkway, going toward George Bush Park and through the reservoir area. And unfortunately, there was a cyclist, a lady, struck and killed on Westheimer Parkway just, 6 months ago or something like that. Typical cagers tailgating each other, driving way too fast, and the rules, the laws here in Texas are that bicyclists can use the full lane. In fact, they're encouraged to use the full lane to discourage cagers from squeaking right by you. If you're over to the right, they try to just crowd you and oftentimes intentionally bully you off of the road because arcades suck. And this lady cyclist was using the full lane, apparently doing what she was supposed to be doing, and two cars were coming up behind her at a high rate of speed. It was estimated that the car that hit her was going over 65 miles an hour, and that's a 45 zone, by the way. And anyway, so the first car was approaching her and waited until the absolute last second to shag over and go around her, just, you know, within feet. And the other car was tailgating. It was a minivan, a lady in a minivan, tailgating the first car, and the other car shagged out of the way, and the lady that was running behind, speeding, tailgating, didn't have enough time to react and just plowed right over the lady on the bike. She was killed instantly, or at least she died on the scene. I don't know if she was killed instantly, but she was pronounced dead on the scene. She messed up the front of the minivan real good. It was this, I don't even know if it was a minivan. It might have been a little SUV, but yeah, anyway, you get the point. Bicyclist versus SUV, you're not going to win. And the sucky thing about that is it's always the motorcyclist or the pedestrian or the bicyclist, whatever, that loses. Even if you're in the right, you're dead right, because the idiot behind the wheel of the killing machine, even if they're, you know, found negligent or, you know, at fault or whatever, it doesn't matter. You're still dead. The family's got to go through the horrible adjustment period of their loved one not being with them anymore, all because of some inattentive jackass at the wheel of a 2.5 ton killing machine that was just in too much of a hurry. The pedestrian or the motorcyclist or the bicyclist, whatever, was an inconvenience to them. They were in the way. Go f*** yourself. Slow down. Be a human. I think that's the real problem, is everyone approaches other vehicles on the road as inanimate objects and as obstacles to be overcome, instead of realizing, hey, there's a person in or on that vehicle. Chill out. That's not what I intended to talk about this morning, but seeing the constable back there put me on a tangent. Sorry. I'm riding the Hunter. I'm happy. Hee hee wee. I love the transmission on this thing. I just love it. It's so easy to shift, you just barely even move the shifter, and it just snicks right into gear. You barely even feel it. There's almost no tactile sensation to it. And I guess that could be bad. That could be bad, you know, good or bad, depending on your opinion of how that should feel. But the fact is, it's just silky smooth. It's so easy to get this thing shifted into another gear, and it's easy to find neutral when you want it, but I've never found neutral by accident yet. So I love it. Very smooth shifting, easy to ride little bike. Love this thing. I have a few little gripes about it, but I'm going to hold those for later. I'm not going to get into the 5 things I like, 5 things I hate. Do the list video, that's later. I need to get intimately familiar with this thing, not just 200 miles. I'll get a 600 miles or 1,000 miles into it, and then I'll give my likes and dislikes. But most of them are just creature comforts for the dislikes, little things that need to be changed for my purposes. Your mileage may vary. Everyone has their riding preferences. The only things that I have as gripes on bikes are generally to do with functional problems or safety problems. Those are the ones that I call out. If there's something that's, you know, an obvious glaring deficiency, then I'll point that out and say, nah, you should really change or upgrade this because it's a safety thing. Like mirrors, you know, if mirrors are so narrow that you're staring at your own shoulders and can't see behind you, like on the Super Cub when I first got that, oh man, those mirrors were just a friggin' hazard. Awful. You might as well not even have them up there because they give you a false sense of security. You look down, oh yeah, I got mirrors. No shit, I can't see anything behind me. Wait. Man, I'd love to be out just riding the back roads today. Don't want to work. And this leisurely ride right here on the Hunter is making me want to work even less. It got pretty good fuel economy, not as good as I had anticipated, but you know, of course, it's a new machine. Engine's going to break in. Yeah, road's over there, Doopy. Doopy, I don't trust you at all. Yep, on his phone. Dumbass. Put the phone down. I've already got a handful of upgrades to install on here. I haven't done any of that yet because I'm trying to intentionally leave it completely stock until I get almost all of the upgrades in hand, and then I'm just going to do one big upgrade series, you know, all the different things I'm putting on it. However, I will probably put those bar risers on here sooner rather than later, just to elevate my riding position here. And the LED headlight, I might do that early. I'm kind of waiting to get the signals in because you got to pull the headlight bucket to get the signals out of there, so it'd be ideal to just knock both of those out at the same time. And I'm just using maybe an eighth of a throttle, just barely even rolling along, and it's accelerating fine. This is not a fast bike. I have no delusions or, you know, misinterpretations of what the bike is or is supposed to be. This is a slow machine. It's a relaxed cruiser, but not really a cruiser. It's a standard bike, you know, upright seating position, very normal neutral ergonomics, and here's a cager doing 80 on the shoulder, on the access road. Great. I do reach for a 6th gear on this thing occasionally, but it's not that the motor is really winding out or spinning up or anything. It's just the single. I do the same thing on my XT250. Once I get up to about 50, 55, I'm reaching for another gear just because the little thumper is spinning. It sounds good though, and the engine vibration, chassis vibration is very manageable on this. It's not butter smooth. You know that there's an engine in there thumping away doing something. You can feel it, hear it, but it's not really intrusive or obnoxious. It's pleasant. Oh, a bad morning. At least it's not hot yet. I still haven't gotten used to that low idle though. Every time I come down to an idle, pull in the clutch, and it's just going thump, 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 thump. It's so slow, man. And apparently that's a Royal Enfield hallmark trait, you know, the slow thump, thump, thump. It's their calling card. I just haven't gotten used to it yet. Makes me think it's about to die. I'm ready to bump the throttle just to feed it some life, you know. So I've been looking everywhere for the drain bolt dimensions on this thing, and I keep finding conflicting, differing answers on what it is. I've seen it's a 12 mil, I've seen 14, I've seen 17. Come on, what is it? I gotta find it because I want to get a magnetic drain bolt and sump plug for this thing for the first oil change. Go ahead and do it on and off because the next 3 lights up here kind of suck. I'm kind of anxious to get my little stubby windscreen, the Royal Enfield accessory, on this because where my phone is mounted, I'm bound to take a rock strike or a little pebble to one of my camera lenses. It's going to suck. I might get a stem mount that goes down in here and mount the phone sideways right there. Might be a smarter option. At least it would be protected against you know, pebbles and crap flying up off the road. It's right here, it's going to get hit. I know it is. Just a matter of time. I'll tell you, it's nice to ride without that backpack in this heat. Backpacks reduce all the airflow to your back, you know, you get all sweaty and nasty. At least this way I'm feeling all that air circulating through the jacket. Ooh, 74 indicated. It'll get along just fine. I think it's going to be fine as a little 65, 70 mile an hour freeway bike. It's not going to have a lot left on top above that, but that's okay. And apparently these have a speed limiter on them. It's not a rev limiter, it's a speed limiter at 75 miles an hour, so don't know. I haven't found it yet to verify that, but that's what everybody says they've got. I'll trust in their reports on that. I don't know if it's possible to trick that, maybe with a different size tire, but I talked about that the other day. You're not going to get bigger tires on this. There's not enough fender clearance, and probably do an ECU reflash if anybody cracks the ECU on these, but I haven't seen anything yet for it. The little piggyback computers like the Fuel X don't mess with the internal programming of the ECU. They just do O2 sensor tweaking. The wind blast from this thing is really not bad. I mean, of course, I do have a little bit of a windbreak here, but I was noticing it even on the ride home from Austin. Wind pressure on the rider without a windscreen on this is pretty negligible. It's really not bad at all. I need to sit down tonight and edit my first ride video and put that out so I can put out some of these ride vlogs. I'm not going to put these out before the first ride vlog. Dum, 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 dum. Bump, bump. Hey, I've made the rear ABS kick in just then. Squatted on the brakes pretty good and unloaded the rear wheel and it went thump under my foot. All right, my front row spot's there. Good enough right here. Get it over to the side far enough that somebody's not going to bump into me, or maybe if another motorcycle comes. There we go. At exactly 222 miles. All right. It's breakfast time. And then unfortunately it's work time, but you know, got to pay for the toys, right? All right, everybody, breakfast is done. I'm noticing that the vibration is causing the pegs to come out to this detent instead of staying all the way in. That's different. I mean, it's not really a problem. They're not sticking out so far that they get in my way, but they're coming out to like there. I need to fold those in. Sorry about that.
What's your channel called?
Oh, Quasi-Motard. One word. Quasi-Motard. Quasi-Motard. I do a bunch of touring across the country, mostly small bore bikes. I love it. Cool. Thanks. This guy and I were talking about the Hunter. He was asking, you know, what was my first bike and how many bikes do I have and all that. And I told him I can barely count how many I've had. There have been quite a few. Anyway, yeah, so the foot pegs vibrating out. That's interesting. They're not really coming past the little detent stop, but they are vibrating down out of position a little bit. So maybe I'll pull them off there and put a stronger dimple in the little plate or whatever it is that locates them. Make them a little tighter. Or maybe just put another washer in there, you know, a flat washer on the post to take up some slack and tighten it up a bit. That'll probably work. Let's get a stainless steel flat washer in there. Could probably find one of those wave washers, not like a split lock washer, but the wave washer, because they're springy and they take up space. We used to have Fastenal down here. I mean, they're nationwide, but right around the time of COVID, all the Fastenal locations closed their retail fronts. They closed their outlets. So you can't just walk in there and go shopping anymore. I love that, man. If you needed a specialty fastener of any kind, you could go into a Fastenal and find it, and if they didn't have it there, you could order it out of their catalog, and they would have it drop shipped to the store in a few days or whatever it took. But you could get pretty much any kind of fastener you could possibly imagine, you know, stuff that's very specific, very specialized. And the Sears hardware stores and stuff like that, those have all dried up, so it's very hard to find specialty fasteners these days. Every time I do my motorcycle projects and I'm putting on, you know, custom mounts or panniers or doing one thing or another, and I need a different fastener than what's commonly available at Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever, I think, oh yeah, I'll just pop over to the Sears hardware store or the wherever. Nope, not anymore, man. Ace Hardware and Lowe's generally have a decent selection of fasteners, but they still don't get into the very specific stuff, you know, like longer grade 8 bolts and stuff like that, cap bolts of odd lengths. Generally motorcycle specific, pretty much anything motorcycle specific they're not going to have. I've even been able to order replacement axles, generic axles, you know, long cap bolts, heavy duty grade 8 stuff to use on my motorcycles in the past when I needed a slightly longer axle because I was attaching something else to the axle area, and it's not, you know, an officially sanctioned part by the manufacturer or whatever, but you know, as long as it meets the grade and it's the right length to get your fastener on the other end of it, whether it be a locking bolt or whatever, then you're good. Torque it down and go. Cool bike. Looks like a relaxed ride. It's starting to get hot already. It's about 10 in the morning. 10:45. Look at that, almost 10:50. The clock is correct on this thing. I checked it last night. So 10:50, almost 11 a.m. already. Man, getting a late start to the day. Didn't get out of my house until, I don't know, almost 9. No footer, no footer, no footer, no footer, no footer, no. Oh, God. Literally by like 2 seconds. Oh, man. This thing's got very good low-speed balance. For being 400 pounds, or right at, it's surprisingly nimble and light. It doesn't feel heavy at all. It's a very low center of gravity. The engine is a stressed member in the frame, so it doesn't have the traditional, you know, double cradle underframe to it. The motor is slung very low, and it is a stressed member, so keeps the center of gravity very low and approachable on this bike. I like it. Ooh, too hot for the helmet. It's always been my biggest gripe about this. I don't know if you guys can see it in the camera. There's only one tab over here on the visor. It's on the left side. So if you're riding a bike with a clutch and you want to open your face shield while you're stopped, you got to reach over with your opposite hand to flip it up. I don't know why SHOEI didn't put flip tabs on both the left and right of these visors. It's annoying. How hard is that to change the mold? not. Just add the little extrusion in the mold pattern for these face shields. Be real easy. The Schuberth face shields have a tab on either side, so it's ambidextrous. Oh yeah, so I was sitting at breakfast going through Instagram replies and stuff to my my recent hunter pictures and all that, and there was a guy apparently right here in the Houston area, Katy area, that was replying back saying that he did not like Iron Supply, that they, you know, were the definition of a stealership. I haven't dealt with them, you know, on any business dealings yet, so I couldn't say, you know, yes or no, but the quote that they gave me on the Royal Enfield, any of the base colors like this one, they were wanting almost $5,900 out the door. 59 and change, I think it was. It's crazy. I was like, what are you shitting me, man? The MSRP on the bike is $39.99. How are you that high? And it was all these dealer fees and setup fees. They wanted like $750 setup fee and everything. Give me a break. There's nothing to set up on these. You put the mirrors on it, check the oil, fill it with gas, hook up the battery, you're done. Anyway, so I was like, nah, I am not doing $5,900. So I ended up getting this from that dealer in Austin for less. So anyway, he said that dealer was trying to do the same thing, quote him really high for his Himalayan, and they wanted like $800 for a valve check, you know, the first service, a valve adjustment oil change thing. $800. They said it was a 4-hour job at $180 an hour shop rate. Oh, come on. Give me a break, man. That's an hour job. It's easy. You just pull the tank off the thing, pull the valve cover. Setting the valves is going to take you maybe 10 minutes if you're a newbie. Put it all back together. Give me a break, man. Maybe $40 in parts, you know, if you have to replace that valve cover gasket, which you shouldn't have to. It's still brand new. Oil filter, some O-rings, a couple quarts of oil. Done, man. So that kind of damped my enthusiasm for going over there to Iron Supply to do the first service on this thing. I'll just do it myself. I'll take a lot of pictures and, you know, receipts and all that in case it ever comes down to a warranty issue or whatever. But yeah, there's no way I'm paying $800 for a half an hour, maybe 1 hour service. Give me a break. We're gonna actually go all the way back to my place, and I'll drop off the bike and we'll just go down to Sugarland in his truck, because there's no need to go back and forth and back and forth. He's got to go that direction anyway to get down to Sugarland via the back road, so why not? Yeah, I am waiting for the weather to cool off so I can get out and do some just little weekend moto camps, you know, go out for 2-3 days, leave on halfway through a Friday or something like that, and go out and camp overnight Friday night, Saturday night, come back late Sunday, or you know, maybe stay through Sunday and come back early Monday, you know. Little 3-dayers, just local state parks, hang out, do a bunch of nothing, swing in the trees in a hammock. I haven't been out to Sam Houston Forest in a while. There's a couple of really nice campgrounds up there that I like to go to, and plenty of good little twisty farm to market roads and forest roads up in that area. Good fun. Last time I was out there I got a flat tire on the 500X though. I don't know what I ran over. Picked up a big screw of some kind that was in the road and screwed up my ride, but that's alright. It happens. That's a good close destination for a weekend moto camp, because it's not too far away. It's just up in the Conroe area. Plenty of good little back highways to explore and goof off. So what I typically do is I'll go up there and I'll stay either at Kelly's Pond Campground, which is kind of very basic primitive camping, or I'll go just across the highway up there. I forget what little forest road it is, but it's just literally right across the highway from Kelly's Pond, and it's called Stubblefield Recreation Area. Really clean little campground. It's privately run. I don't know how that works because it's within the National Forest, but anyway, they've got a bathhouse and, you know, very well manicured. It's just a beautiful facility. And I'll set my camp, you know, hang my hammock or put up the tent or whatever, and then I just go out exploring. Just go out riding and check out the local roads, goof off, find a restaurant or two out on the edge of the highway, and just have fun for the day, and then ride back out to the campsite and sleep. Wake up the next morning, make some coffee, maybe a little bit of breakfast there at camp, lather, rinse, repeat, do it again. It's good fun, man. And on something like this, it's going to be so dirt cheap, you know, it's very efficient. I mean, on any of my bikes that I've ever gone out there, it's always been cheap and efficient. And it's not so far away that you've got, you know, half a day or a full day's ride to get back home whenever you're done. You know, you just go. A couple hours away, no problem. It's far enough to feel like you're out and away on vacation, but not so far away that it's hard to get there, hard to come back. Need a front bumper? Yep, fumbling for that stupid little thumb tab again. I really wish these visors had tabs on both sides. I was looking at my brake fluid. You can't even see that there's any in there. It's above the full line, but that's okay. I was like, wait, is there fluid in that thing? Whoa, 3 people ran that light. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm really enjoying this bike already. It's such a pleasure to ride, and the lopey character of the engine encourages you to ride slow and enjoy the ride. I'm sure it can be made to go fast, but it's just so comfortable at these lower speeds, you know. Partnering around town, probably going to be identical on the back roads, back highways. You know, 45 to 55 miles an hour, maybe 60. It's just relaxed. I like it. I'm sure the Meteor is probably the same, and the Classic is probably the same rough overall engine character as this. I mean, it's the same engine. This one's got a slightly different throttle mapping from what reports that I've read anyway, to be a little bit more aggressive on the throttle response and not quite so laid back like the Meteor or the Classic. But I prefer this riding position, you know, a standard upright riding position, than the really laid back cruiser-esque feel of the Meteor, or, you know, even the Classic. I think has got, you know, floorboards and forward controls and all that. This is just a natural neutral riding position for me. I enjoy it. The rider triangle is a little bit cramped. I think taller riders might want to put a seat pad or something to lift them up a little bit, give a little bit more knee bend, but for me it's fine. It's right at the edge of being too tight. Now once I get the bar risers on it and I'm scooted back a little bit, it'll probably be a little bit more roomy, but I'm sitting forward, you know, at the front portion of the seat, not quite on the tank, but, you know, close to it. Just, you know, that's a natural spot right where the seat narrows. Scooting back will obviously give more knee room, but then I'm too far away from the bars. So with those setback risers that I have, lifting them up a tiny bit and coming back about an inch, 3/4 of an inch, whatever it is, that might give me a little bit more knee room, but I don't mind it a bit. I don't mind it. It feels good. The custom seat that's on the way, it's the Royal Enfield one, it looks like the back portion is a little bit thinner, and it's not quite a flat seat like a bench seat. They've got the touring seat, or the Signature, whatever they call it, that's just like a flat bench. I didn't get that one. That looks too, I don't know, too sedate for me. It's a very pillow top, you know. I don't really want that. But this other one seems to be a little narrower in the front, and it looks like it almost has a bit of a recessed bucket for the pilot area, but it's longer in that section, or at least it appears to be longer than this one. So it might also give a little bit of room to scoot back. We'll see. All those accessories are en route from India, so it's going to be a couple, 3 weeks before they show up. There just aren't any dealers here that I could find the accessories from for reasonable prices. Baxter's Cycle up in Iowa had pretty good prices, but I don't think that they had the seat in stock or something. And I got it cheaper on eBay anyway. It's like, I don't know, $78 or $90 or something like that, and all the local domestic sources that I could find wanted $129, $139 for the seat, which is still cheap for a motorcycle seat. That's not bad. But yeah, I was already ordering a bunch of other stuff from India, so I thought, I'll save the money, let it come slow boat, I don't care. Now, the one thing that I can say about this bike, this particular chassis, this layout, I'll bet that this would be an absolute hoot with the new 450cc liquid-cooled twin that Royal Enfield is talking about bringing out for the Himalayan 450. And I'm hoping that they put it in other platforms like the Scram and some of the others. Oopsie, I guess we're stopping. The lightweight, low center of gravity, standard, seating position, standard layout. I'll bet this chassis would be an absolute hoot with double the horsepower and torque. It'd be a fun little roadster. So we'll have to see what Royal Enfield has up their sleeve for that 450. I don't think anybody has actually seen it or ridden it yet. It's just press release stuff, but we should know very soon, within the next couple months, I think. So maybe for 24 or 25, we'll see a Hunter 450. That would be kind of cool. I'll probably get one. Well, I'll have the 350 single and a 450 twin. Play with them, compare them head to head. As long as they keep the price reasonable like all the other bikes have been, I would say with a twin in it, it would be worth, $5,500, $6,000, something like that. Kind of the price of the current Himalayan maybe, but we'll see how that goes. I think if they priced it the same as the Super Meteor or the what is it, the other 650 that they've got, that might be a bit high. The appeal to this is that it's approachable, from a size, a weight perspective, and most importantly from a price perspective. As long as the dealers aren't gouging it, trying to sell a $39.95 MSRP bike for $6,000. That's nonsense. Well, home again, back in my neighborhood, at least for now. I'm gonna head down to Sugarland and do that job for a few hours and then come back. So chances are I will not have the Quasi Saturday Night Live queued up for tonight, because I don't have time to get all my live streaming gear queued and all that. I don't know, I might. I'll debate it while I'm working. I don't have my giveaway stuff all queued up. Hey, wasp. So I don't know, we'll see how it goes. Anyway, thanks for tagging along, and I will catch you guys maybe this evening or for the next ride, definitely.